All right. Welcome, everybody, to the newest show as part of the Concord Outlaws Wrestling Facebook page and YouTube channel called the EnzuiguriMania podcast. I'm your host, Will the Thrill, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different with this podcast. I'll try to keep it short, around 15 to 30 minutes, and we're going to be fantasy booking upcoming storylines, upcoming angles, angles that I want to see happen, and then eventually we're going to be covering superstars and their careers and what's going to take to get them to the Hall of Fame. So going into this, we got a pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, Money in the Bank. Really, really important pay-per-view, one of my favorites because it has such great implications for the rest of the year. It could make or break future stars. So we've got a pretty solid card coming up for this Sunday. A lot of great matches. So let's just jump right into it. We've got the lovely tag title match between the New Day and the Usos. I'm starting to like the Usos as a heel tag team. I'm finding it refreshing to see them coming up with new creative ideas for themselves, new promos, getting a little bit more vicious, calling out people. And the New Day, I wish they would change things up a little bit. They tend to get a little dry or a little bit overused. For the past, going on 3 years that they've been a team, they've done a lot of the same stuff they're doing over and over again. I'm not sure if I really want them to get the tag titles. I think it'll be a good rub for the Usos to make them look credible if they can beat the New Day. I'm still holding out for Breezango to get the tag titles. I think Breezango getting a win off of the Usos after the Usos beat the New Day would be a really solid thing for them. They are very funny, and I'm really enjoying the fashion files that they've been doing. And they have a lot of potential as a serious tag team when they're outside of the comedic work they're doing. So looking forward to the tag title match. My prediction is that the Usos will retain, of course, by some dirty pin or distracting the referee. Not sure exactly how it's going to go down. Probably my best guess is that the referee is going to get knocked out because he's, maybe going after one of the New Day members who's on the outside, gets knocked out by one of the Usos, and the Usos get a quick roll up. Next match for the night would be Lana versus Naomi for the women's women's title match, and a lot of people are getting a lot of heat for this match, and a lot of people are getting upset that Lana's getting this immediate title match coming out of her, going from managing Rusev to now she's in charge of her own future, I guess, and she gets to go for a title immediately. A lot of people are upset at that. I'm not too upset. I think it's good to have fresh blood into a storyline and a division that's been getting a little stagnant. A lot of the same faces over and over again. So it's good to have another wrestler that we have not really seen shine on the main roster or shine in her own matches. So she's got a lot to prove. She's got a lot on the line. If she does not come through on Sunday, if she cannot put together a good match, albeit that it's both of them putting the match together. But if Lana can't actually, get it together in the ring and, produce a good match, then it's all on her. She needs to have been, training for this for a long while. I know she's been doing some matches down in NXT, and she's really been proving herself, but now it's time for the main roster. Now it's time for her to prove herself to be in the same division as a Charlotte, as a Becky Lynch. And I have full confidence that she can do it. Her new finisher is vicious. It's a little sloppy. I think she just needs some time with it. Hopefully she does not come to the ring and wrestle in the ball gown she's in, because that'd be a little silly. Hopefully she's got some decent ring gear that is maneuverable, so to speak. Naomi's doing better in the ring. I like the way she's going. I like the potential that she has to be a strong champion. She's a little sloppy at points. Her rear view finisher is a little wonky. I don't really care for it, but she has potential. I like wrestlers that are still growing, that are still working on their skill set. They're not solid in their ways. They're not set in their ways. They're not simple-minded. They have goals to be better and to better themselves. So Lana's not going to win, in my opinion. I think she will show have a great match, and that she'll put up a good fight. But I honestly see I see a lot of the women from the SmackDown division interfering in the match because they're protesting Lana getting this easy ride to a title match. And I wouldn't be surprised later in the night then Lana interfering with the ladder match. So Lana does not go over here. I say Naomi wins by the skin of her teeth, and I think Lana will take the title by SummerSlam, only for somebody to cash in on her. We'll get to that in a second. So the next match is the lovely women's ladder match. It's going to be an interesting match. I have a feeling that it's going to surprise a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people on the internet upset because the women aren't going to be as dangerous and as aggressive as the men would. And I think they have a lot to prove here, and I think they're going to go out of their way to prove it. I would love to see some really cool spots. Charlotte doing maybe one of her flips or dives off of a ladder would be really cool. I don't want her to get injured. I'm very afraid of Charlotte getting injured doing one of her spots that she's famous for. I don't want to see them doing too much. I think this should be like a taste test to see how the crowd reacts to the women doing this. And I think it's a good potential, like seeing more weapon-based matches for women. They don't do a whole lot of that. The kendo stick on a pole match kind of flopped last pay-per-view, so I hope that the SmackDown women can show them what women are made out of, so to speak, and actually put on a solid match. My winner out of this, I actually want Carmella to win. Carmella hopefully can start proving herself as a legitimate champion or a championship material. Her ties with James Ellsworth is getting old. It was kind of funny at first to watch her kind of pull him along and him act like he belongs, but he needs to take some time off, go do something else, get involved maybe in a tag team. He's going to get involved on Sunday, and I'm not going to be really happy with it because he does not need to be involved in what is becoming a very important division for WWE. So Carmella, I think this is her chance to shine. If she can put on a solid match and kind of get rid of that stupid high-pitched screaming thing she does with her promos and show how good she was in NXT, I think she can finally win the crowd over. A lot of times the crowd doesn't even hardly react to her anymore, which is a darn shame because she's really good in the ring and she can tell a really good story. So my pick is Carmella. I don't think she'll cash in until maybe SummerSlam. Try to get herself... I would like her to go face and like a Becky Lynch to go heel because Carmella is better with the fans as a face. You can see that in NXT. You've seen it in live events. She does well with the fans, and her as a heel is just not clicking with me. I think she has a lot of potential as a face. So again, Carmella is going to win. Again, this is the chance for the women to really shine, and I have a feeling they will. Next match I hope is next on the lineup. I hope it does not go on last. Is Orton versus Jinder Mahal. A lot of people are ragging on Jinder Mahal as his not deserving of this title reign, and he doesn't deserve to be on top of the card or be on top of SmackDown. I think it's a fresh storyline. People have been begging for new faces and new wrestlers to be pushed to the top. Yeah, he didn't really have a proper push leading up to it, but what better heel heat than genuine heat, like genuine anger from the fans. Of course, Jinder Mahal is going to go over here. It's going to be interesting the way they've had it set up to where Orton and Orton's dad and some of the other legends are going to be ringside to have them kind of maybe not interact with the match, but their response after Orton loses is going to be interesting to watch. I would not be surprised if it's not going to be a turning point in Orton's career to where he becomes less cocky and more caring, about the fans, about his future. And of course, this is just paving the way for John Cena to come back and take the title from Jinder Mahal. So I see Jinder Mahal losing the title in a couple weeks to John Cena, but having him hold it a little bit while longer, I would love it if right before the match, though, they ban the Singh brothers from ringside. That way Jinder Mahal can actually prove himself in the ring, and he can get a roll up or a dirty pin to win, but give him a good 10-minute match, 15-minute match to prove himself that he's actually credible and he's not going to be a waste of time. We got the next one, of course, is the main event, which is going to hopefully be the men's ladder match. I think there's so much potential for this to be a 5-star match, to be the match of the year. A lot of great talent. You've got Kevin Owens. I kind of wish he was in a match earlier in the night for his U.S. title, but I'll beg to differ. I can take what we got. You've got AJ Styles, Nakamura, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, all great wrestlers, all known for their great work in the ring, for selling ability, for taking risks, taking chances, and getting the crowd hyped for matches. So when you've got all these guys going at it, it's going to be a really fiery match. Love to see Dolph Ziggler take some spots. He's been kind of getting dull lately. He's getting kind of put in the background. I would love to see him get the crowd fired up for the match again. A phenomenal forearm from the top of a ladder would be awesome. Again, I'm afraid AJ is going to get injured. I don't want him to. A lot of wrestlers who take a lot of risks in these matches get injured seriously. I remember Sheamus a couple years ago got injured and was out for like 6 months. So I would not want that to happen to any wrestler. I don't want them to sacrifice their body for the sake of a match. I want them to have longevity. However, I do want the match to be quality. I don't want this to be a slog where they're just sitting there doing nothing. So my pick, a lot of people have already chosen him. I want Baron Corbin to win. I think Baron Corbin has proven himself that he's put in the work and he's put the time in to train and get better and better in the ring. His finisher is killer. The End of Days is awesome. So is I can never remember the name of it. It's basically the Black Hole Slam from Abyss. But both of those moves are very good. He puts a lot of emphasis on them, and they're usually very protected from people kicking out of them. So I think Baron Corbin can go over. Then you can set up some great feuds among the rest of the competitors going forward. And then Baron Corbin, I would love to see him cash in on John Cena. Have John Cena beat Jinder Mahal on July 4th, and then Jinder Mahal gets his rematch maybe at SummerSlam, and Baron Corbin cashes in on John Cena. That way, Baron Corbin gets as much heat as he possibly can get and can beat John Cena for the title. It'll be great. Give him the title. A short title run. Feel how Baron Corbin is as a champion. He's never been champion yet. And it'll be interesting to see how he interacts with the rest of the crowd. Again, I'm excited for this pay-per-view. I really hope it lives up to the hype we've gotten for it. A little bit short of a pay-per-view. It's 5 matches, which is a very interesting setup. I really hope that means the ladder matches are going to get solid 30 minutes each. The rest of the matches could be about 15, and I'm cool with that. As long as they don't compromise other matches like the Lana Naomi or the tag title matches for the sake of another match. I hope they don't do what they did with a couple pay-per-views ago, where they shoehorn in random matches that don't matter. I'm fine with that for like the pre-show, but if they do that to the main pay-per-view, it compromises the integrity of the pay-per-view. So like I said, solid pay-per-view, looking forward to it. Right now, we're going to do a quick word from another member of our Outlaws with a word from our sponsors.
Hey guys, it's the Phenomenal K-Dog. Here for the Concord Outlaws. We'll get right back to it with the first episode of EnzuiguriMania. Really proud of what it's doing over there. Check out Markout Mania episodes 1, 2, 3, and brand new episode that just got uploaded on YouTube this morning. Episode 4. I review SmackDown Live. I also give my preview and prediction of Money in the Bank. Much like Will the Thrill is doing on this episode. Definitely want to give a shout out though. Got a couple of indie shows that are coming up, and you guys know how much I love indie shows. We got PWX, the premier wrestling experience located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Having a mega show with Evolve Wrestling, July 8th in Charlotte. PWX, this is how we do it. July 8th, 2017, 3500 East Independence Boulevard in Charlotte, North Carolina. Doors open at 2:30, bell time at 3 p.m. And then, the main event, Saturday, July 8th again. Doors open at 7:30. Show starts at 8 p.m. Evolve 88. Same address, 3500 East Independence Boulevard in Charlotte. Appearing that night. Evolve champion, Zack Sabre Jr. Tag team champions, Chris Dickinson, and Jaka. Keith Lee, Ethan Page, ACH, Fred Timothy Thatcher, and Smokely Hathaway, Tracy Williams, Trump Beretta, Austin Theory, Jason Kincaid, Anthony Henry, plus more, as well as making his Evolve debut, James Strait. Evolve 88, PWX, this is how we do it. July 8th, that's a Saturday, 3500 East Independence Boulevard in Charlotte. Now, back to Will the Thrill, in the first episode of EnzuiguriMania.
All right, guys, we're back. And like I said at the top of the show, we're going to be fantasy booking upcoming angles that I want to see happen, storylines I want to see happen, and eventually we're going to be fantasy booking the rest of wrestlers' careers, talking about their careers and analyzing, are they Hall of Fame worthy? What's going to take to get them Hall of Fame worthy? So today's episode, we're going to delve into a topic that not a whole lot of people are talking about. Many people think it's comedic. It has no potential to really go anywhere. The Titus brand from Raw. A lot of people just kind of push it to the side. Even WWE at times treats it like a joke. But I believe it has potential to create some really great moments, a solid stable in the mid-card, and the potential to create some careers for certain wrestlers. So starting off, we've got Great Balls of Fire is a Raw pay-per-view that's coming up, and there has a lot of potential to make or break the Titus brand. So recently, Titus has gotten Apollo Crews on his side, and now it's looking like Akira Tozawa is also going to jump to the Titus brand. And this is going to be where fans are going to start seeing, hopefully, Titus brand actually become a serious and legitimate stable. So it's been teased that Akira Tozawa is going to challenge Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship at Great Balls of Fire, and I believe this match is actually going to happen. And if you want to get the Titus brand legitimate, give the people that are part of the brand titles. They don't have to hold it for very long, but if you want to make it so Titus brand looks like it's an actual stable and that he actually is a competent manager, have him lead them to a title championship. So have Akira Tozawa be the first person since January to beat Neville for the title. And so have Akira Tozawa with Titus O'Neil at ringside win against Neville and dethrone the king of the cruiserweights. Later in the night, this is where it's going to get interesting. This is where the Titus brand is really going to get defined. Earlier this past Monday, we saw signs that Heath Slater is going to challenge The Miz for the Intercontinental title. Of course, many people, many wrestling fans are going to think that there's no legitimacy to this challenge, that Heath Slater doesn't stand a chance, that this is going to be a blow-off match, it's going to be a joke match. However, this is where I could see an interesting turn for Heath Slater's career. He's never won a singles title. It's always been a tag title. He's always been hooked to somebody else. He's never really been proud to go on his own. He's never been competent or booked properly to go on his own. So I want him to challenge The Miz at Great Balls of Fire for the Intercontinental title. And what you could have is that everyone's going to think that Dean Ambrose is going to interfere in the match, and it's going to go that way. However, you could have it to where Elias Sampson, the Drifter, takes out Dean Ambrose backstage prior to the match, leading it to be just a one-on-one match between Heath Slater and The Miz. You could have a solid match here. 15 minutes, prove Heath Slater actually is a competent wrestler, that he's no longer a joke. And that's where I would want things to change. So Heath Slater accidentally gets a cheap win. So he does a quick roll-up win at the end of like a 15-minute solid match. And he's celebrating. You've got Rhino on the outside, runs inside to celebrate with him. And that's when you see like Heath Slater's eyes kind of look at him like, you didn't win this, I won this. And Heath Slater should take out Rhino, knock him out, maybe take the championship, conk him over the head. And then Titus O'Neil runs in and shakes the hand of Heath Slater. Heath Slater can then turn heel. Of course, he's going to get the ire of the fans, and everyone's going to hate him. And he's going to turn, Rhino very sympathetic. People are going to more. So be sympathetic and supportive of Rhino. So you've got with the Titus brand after this pay-per-view, Akira Tozawa, Heath Slater, and Apollo Crews. What's even better with the Titus brand is that Titus O'Neil still wrestles. A lot of the great stables like the Heenan family or the Dangerous Alliance, the managers didn't wrestle. And while that's fine, it's even more powerful for a stable to have its leader be also able to defend the honor, so to speak, of the stable in the ring. So with Titus O'Neil actually able to get in the ring, you have a lot of potential for some really great matches. So going forward, you have, Neville is now ticked off at Akira Tozawa. You've got Rhino feels betrayed by Heath Slater. And then you can have Kalisto is still angry that he lost his best friend, Apollo Crews, to the Titus brand. And that's when you start seeing this heel stable that is centered around all they want is these opportunities to get money and to prosper. So they're willing to do whatever it takes to get better paychecks from Titus O'Neil. So Titus O'Neil is hooking them up with brands, opportunities, sponsors, all of these things like he's promising them. He wants to make them famous. They want to be famous. You could do Heath Slater's like, look, tag team championship is not getting me enough money to raise for my family. Titus brand promised me all these other opportunities so I can actually raise money for my family and actually support them. Try to make it like a sympathetic heel. But of course, he's still very ruthless, and you need to make it so he's slowly building towards a ruthless angle where he's, willing to use chairs, willing to become use dirty tactics to win matches. Apollo Crews, this is where you can really define him as a character. He hasn't had a whole lot of personality as of late. He's just, a common face that the crowd sort of pops for, doesn't really get into. This is where you'd have to get them into him being a heel. He could, cheat to win, all of these things, and get the crowd at least responding to him when he comes out. Of course, the crowd is really into Akira Tozawa right now. You don't really have to do a whole lot of heel tactics with him. He's vicious in the ring anyways. So you just sell him as part of the Titus brand and everyone would still boo him. Titus O'Neil, for their matches, whatever's coming up, can interfere, can cause problems, distract the referee, classic heel stuff. Going forward, you've got SummerSlam coming up with this new heel stable, and I love stables because stables can build superstars and have potential to build new wrestlers and build new angles and all these great things. So going into SummerSlam, I want it to be a 6-man elimination match between Akira Tozawa, Slater, and Apollo Crews, and Kalisto, Rhino, and a begrudgingly sympathetic / compromising Neville. He just wants vengeance on Akira Tozawa. He doesn't care that he's teamed up with these other two guys. He just wants vengeance. So with Titus O'Neil at ringside, here's where you need to let Apollo Crews take 2 guys out at once. Maybe not back to back, but 2 guys out in the match. Have him define himself as the big man, the big strong wrestler who's powerful, who's fast, who's nimble. Define him as that. A lot of times he gets these 5-6 minute matches. He doesn't have a whole lot of time to shine. Give him time to shine. Have him eliminate Rhino and eliminate Kalisto. Build him up as a vicious heel. Make it so he actually looks like a competent person, a competent wrestler. And then you could have some great moments with Slater in the ring with Rhino. Of course, Rhino is going to keep beating him up because nobody's going to actually believe Rhino to actually get a solid win over Heath Slater. But, for Heath Slater to, keep raking the eyes or below the belt punches, something like that, because he realizes he can't survive too much against a bigger wrestler like a Rhino. So he has to keep using these tactics. Maybe have it to where he doesn't want to at first, but becomes more and more willing as it goes on. And then you could have, Neville get, teamed up on by all 3 members. The heels need to get a clean sweep over the quote-unquote faces. A lot of the faces, Kalisto is over with the fans. He doesn't need to worry about a loss. Rhino is way over with the fans. He doesn't need to worry about a loss. And Neville, one more loss is not going to hurt him. He was at the top of the card for, 5-6 months? He's fine. Give the heel brand, get the Titus brand a chance to actually get a solid victory. Going forward, this is when you want to see Titus O'Neil in the back, calling, quote unquote, calling famous athletes, famous actors, and getting them under his belt as part of the Titus brand. That's when you can have Gronkowski come back and say he's only coming back to talk with Titus O'Neil, and like the camera keeps going back and forth to them talking, and then you see them shake hands. You don't have to see Gronkowski in the ring or anything like that, but the fans understand that Gronkowski is now part of the Titus brand, and these legitimate athletes, these legitimate actors, whatever you want. So WWE loves calling in actors and actresses to do shows. Why don't you have them join the Titus brand? They don't have to be, engaged in the ring. They don't have to do anything like that. But join the Titus brand. The Titus brand starts looking legitimate. All of this is leading up to Survivor Series. And I want Survivor Series to be the point when you have a strong stable, so it actually looks like a legitimate threat to the mid-card of Raw. So Great Balls of Fire is done. SummerSlam's done. Next up, we have Night of Champions. As you're going forward, you're starting to see, Akira Tozawa is still holding the title, and you've got Heath Slater still holding his title, but by the skin of his teeth. Like he's cheating to win matches. He's becoming more and more like desperate to hold on to the title as long as possible. Almost like he's like awestruck with this title, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to hold on to it. And you understand why he is. He's trying to support his family. So he's becoming more and more like desperate to win matches. He walks out on matches because he doesn't want to lose. And you could build up to bigger matches with him. Maybe face a Miz, maybe face a Dean Ambrose. Legitimize him as a champion, but don't overdo it, because sometimes it won't be believable if he gets a clean win over a Dean Ambrose. And then going into Night of Champions, Apollo Crews is becoming more and more antsy. He's becoming more anxious because he doesn't have a title, and he was the first member of the Titus brand. Titus O'Neil keeps promising him, I'm going to get you a title match, just hold on, I've got some more things I'm working out. And you see Apollo Crews becoming less and less involved with the Titus brand. He's like, I won't come out to the ring, you're not holding up your end of the bargain. And Titus O'Neil's trying to convince him to stay with the group, hold on. Slater and Tozawa are becoming like upset at Apollo Crews because he's not holding up his end of the bargain. He's not coming out to matches and protecting them. He's not interfering in matches to help them hold up the title. Because he's like, all I want is title matches. I don't get title matches anymore. And so going into Survivor Series, you're building up a five-man on five-man match. Titus brand has, Akira Tozawa, Slater, Apollo Crews, and Titus O'Neil. He promises to be involved in the match. And he promises the fifth member that he's working out negotiations with. He's working out a contract with. This is where Apollo Crews is just about to leave the brand. And the fans are calling for him to leave it. The fans are like, yes, we want you to turn face, leave the Titus brand, because they're becoming more and more ruthless. In different matches, you've got them using chairs when they're not supposed to be using chairs. They're getting themselves purposely disqualified because it means they get to hold on to the titles. Titus O'Neil is purposely sabotaging matches. They're not finishing matches properly because they want to hold on to the titles. And, Titus O'Neil is getting them more money and more sponsorships and awesome things for them holding on to the titles longer. And so you could have it to Survivor Series. You have, a team of like the Miz, who's just wanting an IC title match. Kalisto, Neville, who maybe at this point is a face, Rhino, and let's say the Big Show, who is seeing what's going on and is hating it. And so Titus O'Neil's building this up, and Apollo Crews is just about to leave. And so at the match, they finally announce the fifth member, and I want it to be Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, for the past couple months, has actually been talking about wanting to come back for one last match in the WWE, or a couple more matches. Why not have him come back and be the special member, have it to where Titus O'Neil worked his magic and negotiated the contract of Rey Mysterio back with the company. And it makes him look more credible. People still think he's a slimy heel manager, but it's bringing back a fan favorite despite the fact he's going to be a heel. that makes it Apollo Crews is now looking at him as like, okay, you're credible now. And then if you really want to go with it, and I think this is a very possible thing, have Apollo Crews and Rey Mysterio team up to go for the tag titles. I don't want them to go near the Universal title, and I don't want there to be a diva involved or women involved. I do want them to capture just briefly, all the titles in the mid-card. You're building up Heath Slater as a legitimate wrestler, Apollo Crews, Akira Tozawa, and Titus O'Neil as a legitimate manager. And then, by TLC, by the Royal Rumble, you could have them start dissolving as a team. But, for a 5-6 month period, you have a legitimate faction, a legitimate stable, building up legitimate wrestlers. And you could have some great storylines. You could have mini matches with the members of the Shield. You could have matches with, normal heel guys who are seeing the success of the Titus brand and just disdain it, and they rather work together with people they hate than let the Titus brand just keep being so successful. So in The Miz, while he's not turning face, he's wanting to go for the IC title, or Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. Not get clean victories on a lot of these guys, but have some cool matches where you actually make them look like legitimate, not main event talent, but upper mid card talent, like a Dolph Ziggler kind of level. And so that's where I want to book the Titus brand through a couple pay-per-views, have some really solid matches, cool pay-per-view streak where they're winning. They're not winning cleanly, but they're winning titles and they're looking legitimate. I would love to see Apollo Crews come out of this. He turns face eventually, turns on the Titus brand, and actually gets pops from the crowd when he comes out and gets support from the fans. Akira Tozawa, vicious as ever, but actually, at the top of the cruiserweights, not just on some random episode of 205 Live. And then Heath Slater, I want him to be able to go on his own and not be just a jobber or not just be a tag team guy, but to come out and actually be a mid-card talent that's, when he's on Raw, he looks like he can actually go against a main event guy and not lose because he's just doing a quick job. So that's where I'm at right now with the Titus brand. I hope you guys you guys got what I was going with. It's going to be a little bit more formatted as I go forward, as I plan out different angles. And this is just the first one I knew was a little controversial. Not a whole lot of people are going to agree with me, but you get the idea of where I'm going because I want to build wrestlers. I want to build stories. I want to make watching wrestling interesting again. I think this storyline could make it at least get us through the summer with watchable TV. Next week, I'm going to do a wrestler profile and analysis of Dolph Ziggler and work his profile, see where he's going, maybe what's wrong with his career, what's been going on, what's been going wrong with it, what he needs to do, what maybe is left for him to do in the WWE, and what will it take to make him Hall of Fame worthy. So next week, we're going to be covering Dolph Ziggler and maybe doing a quick recap of what I thought about Money in the Bank. After that, who knows? You guys, when we go on, you guys go on my Facebook page, the Concord Outlaws Wrestling Facebook page, or you maybe you're watching this on YouTube. Leave a comment. See how you say if you like this. Say if you don't like this. Any ideas, things you want me to fantasy book for you. Any questions you might have about wrestling that you would like me to analyze. Send them to me on Facebook, on the Concord Outlaws Wrestling Facebook page, or on the comments of this video on YouTube, and I'll answer them. Next week, you have a question, you leave it for me, I will analyze it, and I'll answer it. And we'll talk about this. I want you guys to be involved in this podcast. I want this to be a wrestling fan's ability to talk back and discuss ideas and hopes and dreams that you have for the WWE. All right, and that's about it. See you guys next week on the new EnzuiguriMania podcast.